Epomaker HE68 Lite, another one of the magnetic keyboards that I have personally tested with a mix and matching feature where you could use multiple kinds of switches in one PCB. This seems to be something that's proving to be a new standard in today's magnetic keyboards. For context, most magnetic keyboards, especially in the budget category, have PCBs that are calibrated for only one kind of magnet found in a specific switch that they're compatible with, but the PCB on the Epomaker HE68 Lite can handle magnetic switches from Epomaker, Gateron, and TTC. If you're new to magnetic keyboards, this is not only a game changer, but allows gamers to be able to customize their magnetic keyboards further. And to add to all this, it's still a budget keyboard with a price tag of only $50. Hi, I'm Daniel with the Biboyharanero team, and we've been reviewing keyboards, mice, and audio gear for gamers since 2019. Subscribe so you're always updated with our new videos. Now back to the keyboard. This is a wired tray-mounted 65% magnetic keyboard with a very neat, clean design. You even get the option of whether to put on a strap or not. Then, in terms of gaming, as usual, I did use this for a few days playing Delta Force on Steam, and I should say it did perform as I expected. No delays, no interferences, no issues so far with keystrokes in general. This too has an 8000 Hz polling rate with a scan rate of 128,000, though I have no tech to confirm that, so take whatever I say with a grain of salt. This has NKRO or All Key Anti-Ghosting, which is standard to gaming keyboards. This is more of a gaming keyboard than an office keyboard due to the spring weight of the stock switches. The Epomaker Clear Mag switches have 37 gram springs within, which is recommended for gaming, but not entirely for typing, as you may incur more typos with this spring weight. We'll go over this in more detail later on.
So we have here the software of the HE68 Lite. First and foremost, in the first tab that you got here, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 subtabs. And in the first subtabs, there are more subtabs. So in the first subtab, you have here the basic characters that you could bind to your keyboard. You have macro settings here, which we already have one saved, and we'll go over this in more detail later on. Then you have function buttons right here, including mouse functions that you could bind onto your keyboard. You could even disable those keys as well. Just select the key and click on disable. Onto magnetic switch settings here. Here you will have travel distance settings that you could set on all buttons. Just click on select all or drag select. Onto the switch settings here, this is where you will be able to mix and match different switches from Gaterons or TTCs, including that of Gaute, which is what I believe is the default switch that we have installed on the keyboard. Over at simulation test is where you do your calibration and tests. And let's move on. The third subtab here, we have advanced magnetic features such as dynamic keystroke, mod tap, toggle key, and snap tap. I already set snap tap on A and B. It's very easy. If I set this for Z and C, it's very easy. There you go. Confirm, and I have it set up on Z and C. Now let's move on to other settings right here. You have the report rate that you could choose from 8000 to 1000. Moving on, in the second tab, you will have the option to change the function profile or the function settings of your keyboard and change the alternate functions of each key. You will also have macro settings here, which you could still bind onto the function rows. And by the way, there are multiple function settings here. I believe that you could add. Oh, I am wrong. There's only one function profile. Anyways, let's move on. For macro editing, I already did record one macro as a sample, and it does record your mouse clicks as well. Onto light settings, this is pretty much self-explanatory. And with the light edit subtab right there, you could choose precisely what color you want for each key. Now onto local configuration, I believe this is where you import and export profiles, but I could be wrong. I've never seen this on any other software before. On community share, this is where you could upload your macros or light settings and download other people's macros and light settings as well. Over at profile, this is where you log in and register, so you could save your keyboard settings and import that to another Epomaker keyboard that's compatible with this software.
Inside the box, you get the keyboard, documentation, cable, key puller combo, extra switches, strap and strap holder, screws, screwdriver, and a PET anti-dust cover. The strap is something you put on your keyboard or not, depending on how you want it to look. I personally like the strap because I think it's cool, but yeah, you do you. However, with the strap on, the dust cover is no longer compatible, so there's a trade-off. I love that the dust cover was included in the box, as this is something I always mention in each of my keyboard reviews. All keyboards should come with dust covers. The cable feels really good with a braid around it and is also very thick to accommodate the polling rate. As for the keyboard, it's really light, and if you look underneath, you'll see some hollow parts. And since we're already looking underneath, this doesn't have kick-up feet to angle your keyboard, which I wish it had. Now back to the weight, one of the contributors to its light build is its PC positioning plate. Had that been aluminum, and this would be heavier, but no problem, as the PC plate makes the keyboard sound way better in my opinion. I like that the keyboard, despite the body having some hollow parts, doesn't sound hollow. And this is due to the fully dampened internals as we are showing you in the B-roll right now. Overall, despite of the light build, I think the keyboard is acceptably solid. Now onto the keycaps. This has double shot shine through keycaps in cherry profile. I'm not really sure if the keycaps are made of PBT as it has a shine to it that kinda looks like ABS, but I could be wrong. I will leave a pinned comment down below if this is the case. So far, I really like that they went with the shine through keycaps. It makes the keyboard look cleaner with the light shining through the legends matched with a clean, non-branded, plain white body. The stabilizers perform really well because there's very little rattling that I hear. Then looking closely into the stabilizers, they're tightly placed on the positioning plate. And in terms of lube, I don't think I would need to add any more dielectric grease. Now, onto the Epomaker clear mag switches. These have a very good sound. These have a very good sound out of the box. They sound clacky, but not overly sibilant, thanks to the PC positioning plate, which somehow dampens the clack. Speaking of dampers, this has factory lubing inside, so the switches do not rattle, as even the lube somehow acts as cushions between the plastic-to-plastic contact points. Again, this has 37 grams within, which is very good, especially for gamers. Here's how they sound. This is offered in two colorways. You get a white one and a black one, so they're very straightforward. First look into the keyboard, I really like that the strap is colored silver on this white Epomaker HE68 Lite. It makes it very simple and neat. I also like that there aren't any prints on the strap. It's just plain white, which again makes it look very clean. The front part of the keyboard is angled and somewhat acts like a palm support, but my hands still rest on the table versus that part of the keyboard, so I think it's more of an aesthetic touch than a functional thing. Anyhow, I like that there is zero branding on the top case and also no other gimmicks such as light indicators. But you do get a static light on caps lock and win lock when they're activated. And speaking of light, I love that the shine through keycaps are still able to emit good colors despite the south-facing PCB. With shine through keycaps, I would still highly prefer north-facing LEDs for brighter shines. But I'm glad that Epomaker clear mag switches have a clear top case which allows for the light to shine through. Still, it would have been better if this had north-facing LEDs. This is a small keyboard. There's really not much to talk about in terms of aesthetics because it's very straightforward. So if you have any questions, let me know in the comment section down below. I will leave my affiliate links in the description on where to get your own Epomaker HE68 Lite. I'll see you guys again next time. Bye bye.